Welcome to the chapter Food Security. Let us look into the food security in the country. Food security of a country can be studied through increasing food grain production, availability of food grains, and availability of other food items. Click each tab to know more. Let us first learn how to increase the food grain production. Food security's important requirement is to increase the production of food grains. It means government takes necessary actions and sets certain rules on farmers to increase food grain production. Graph showing production of food grains in million tons is on screen. Since last few decades, there is no new land added under cultivation. Hence, we need to concentrate on increasing yield of crop. To increase yield, but in this process of production, natural resources like soil should be protected in order to prevent depletion or damage. Some scientists and people in the agriculture sector state that the intensive use of chemical fertilizers and pesticides in rice and wheat production in India may have increased yield levels, but in fact these methods cause soil degradation and decrease in groundwater levels. If these methods are continued, yield levels decrease instead of increasing. Now, let us discuss about availability of food grains. This is the ability of a country to provide food grains to all of its population, and this is considered as the first requirement. To know whether food grains are available or not, we must first understand what is availability. Availability means that the availability of food grains per person or per capita in the country should be sufficient and also increase over the years. There is a difference between production of food grains. Imports also increase food grains availability in any particular year. Also, by changing the stocks of the government, availability of food grains could be increased. It means if the availability of rice is low for the people in the market, then apart from that particular year's production, government sells its stocks and increases the availability of rice for consumption in the market. What are food grains? There is a misconception of cereal being inferior grains. Since of the name coarse grains, people think these are rough and unhealthy. In fact, these are nutritious and wholesome grains. These are the main course of food for millions of people of the country who are living in dry land regions. The word coarse is a word that is brought by the colonial rulers. They preferred white rice and wheat as superior and considered the cultural food of the locals as inferior. In contrary, today, people consider these grains as nutri-cereals. Let us now learn about other food items. People's consumption habits have changed over the years. They started taking other food items as well as food grains. This change is good for both consumers and producers, as the consumers need diverse basket of food items with balanced diet. The food grain producers could also go for diversification of crops in order to increase their income. As studied in earlier class, where farmers shifted to cash crops such as cotton in AP has caused them loss and even led to some farmers' suicides. Instead of choosing cash crops, they should have choose allied activities to food grain such as poultry, fish. Farmers know that the seeds from Maharashtra and Madhya Pradesh are good in quality. Another good thing that happened to these farmers is dairy. Almost every farmer has 2 to 3 cows and they are taken care by the women folk. The land in this village slopes up from the river, and there is another village 300 meters up and away. In this second village, almost all the farmers are poor, because they cultivate only one crop per year due to the lack of water resources. If there is a second crop, it depends on rains, and yield is also low here. Many changes and improvements can be done here, but without the help of the government, diversification is not possible in this region. The policies made to develop diversification may increase the production of other food items, but they should be planned carefully in order to maintain balance between food grains and other food items. If total concentration is diverted to other food items, food grain production may come down, which is not good for a country like India. Majority of the poorer households who do a lot of physical work gain energy from the intake of more food grains. Per capita availability of India is very low when compared to the countries like USA 850 grams and Europe 700 grams. The per capita availability decline in food grains is something to be worried about for India's food security. So, the policy should increase both food grains and other food items production simultaneously.